A very good evening to you and welcome to Hope TV Newswatch on the second day of October 2023. Tonight on the Dialogue K, I'll be hosting Steve Ogutu, a governance specialist, and lawyer Charles Kimani as we discuss on the state of the national dialogue. A very good evening to you and welcome to the broadcast. My name is Kennedy Kimani and my co-presenter on the sign language interpretation tonight is Boniface Murithi. Now, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru has been re-elected as the Council of Governors chairperson. Waiguru has been elected during the elections for the Executive and Technical Committee after she had declared interest in defending her seat. At the same time, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja and his counterpart from Machakos Wavinya Ndeti are among county chiefs who lost positions at the Council of Governors. Wavinya, who was the Industry, Manufacturing and Enterprise Development chairperson, lost to Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika, while Sakaja, who was the Human Resource, Labour and Social Welfare chairperson, lost to his UDA counterpart from Nyeri, Mutahi Kahika.
We held a successful first biennial devolution conference in Uasin Gishu County, and we are working in collaboration with the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee to ensure the unbundling of functions is finalized. As we celebrate the success, we therefore appreciate that this was not devoid of challenges. We note that there have been continuous attempts to claw back devolution through retrogressive legislation and creation of unconstitutional bodies to undertake devolved functions. The recent gazettement of additional Water Works Development Authority, the enactment of Community Groups Bill, and the overnight passage of the Facility Improvement Funds Act and other laws do not embrace the spirit and letter of our Constitution. We call upon the national government and other devolution stakeholders to embrace consultation, cooperation, and collaboration to enable us to serve the people of Kenya effectively.
Now, the National Dialogue Committee resumed its sittings today to listen to petitions from different groups. The committee, chaired by the National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah and Wiper Leader Kalonzo Musyoka, started receiving submissions from the public on the 22nd of September. After various groups sent memoranda on proposals they wanted to be considered on the issues set for dialogue by the committee. And as our very own Alice Diana reports, former Attorney General Amos Wako was among those who appeared before the committee today, has proposed the enactment of a law requiring the Electoral Commission to open its server for the public audit by the public for after every general election to improve on transparency.
The National Dialogue session continued today at the Bomas of Kenya, with various teams making their submissions on issues for talks. Appearing before the committee, Attorney General Emeritus and former Busia Senator Amos Wako, while speaking on electoral justice, proposed that the top 2 or 3 political parties to nominate people for appointment in the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IBC), saying this will go a long way in helping the country to solve recurring problems in the political scene.
I suggest that the top 2 or 3 political parties should nominate people for appointment, direct appointment to the Electoral Commission. And the top 2 or 3 should nominate 1 commissioner each. And the rest of the political parties should jointly nominate 1.
In his submissions to the National Dialogue Committee, the former AG proposed the enactment of a law requiring the Electoral Commission to open its servers for public audit by the public after every general election to improve transparency.
The server should be open, and it should be open and accessible to whoever wants to access it. Rather than these arguments we have been having in 2013, 2017 with the court, go and open the observer. Oh, we cannot open because of some foreign company has some rights. I don't know, intellectual right over it. We can't just interfere. I think it should be very clear to whoever comes to assist us that the servers will be open. And we can only do that if we make it law.
On his part, Kitui Senator Enoch Wambua is proposing Kitui County to be split into 2 counties in order to enable the residents benefit from the fruits of devolution.
My proposal is an attempt to cure an injustice vested and visited on the people of Mwingi and by extension the entire Lower Eastern region, on account of a failure by the Office of the Attorney General to gazette a district. And I am urging this committee, the National Dialogue Committee, not to grant the invitation from any quarter to be bystanders as the people of Mwingi continue to suffer this injustice. Co-chairs and members, the object of this proposal, which I have presented to you, is to amend the Constitution of Kenya and to ensure that resources and services are brought closer to the people by splitting the expansive Kitui County into 2 counties.
In their presentation, the Ilchamus community, a minority from Baringo South, decried lack of representation in the national government and proposed the community to be recognized as a separate constituency, as this will empower their voice in national governance. Communities from Trans Nzoia County, on their part, opposed the introduction of more constituencies in the county.
As you retire to go through this bulky document, which you have documented, Chair, we will want you to look at several declarations. To be specific, the Mabanga Declaration. This declaration was signed by all the elders in Trans Nzoia County and agreed in one voice that in the event of any misunderstanding or anything that might cause a division, they will sit down and deal those issues as a community. We are yet to get there, and therefore what we are saying is the question of seeking for another county, I think, is premature, and you must allow the elders and the Mabanga Declaration.
Azimio and Kenya Kwanza coalitions are among entities set to appear before the National Dialogue Committee tomorrow. Alice Diana, Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Alice, for that report. Former Attorney General Professor Githu Muigai has resigned as the chairperson of the Council of Legal Education. Professor Muigai's resignation comes days after CLE acting CEO Mary Magure stepped down after staff went on strike of alleged mismanagement and high-handedness by the top leadership. The staff are demanding the dissolution of the entire CLE board, as well as the sacking of senior officials over alleged misappropriation of funds. Githu Muigai was appointed to the council in 2021 as a non-executive chairperson by former President Uhuru Kenyatta for a period of 3 years. Moving on, Senate Speaker Amason Jeffa Kingi has told the opposition to allow President William Ruto to fully roll out his election manifesto. The Speaker has accused the opposition leaders of sabotaging the president and blaming him for failing to improve the economy and tackle the high cost of living for the Kenyan people. At the same time, Kingi has urged the people of the Coast region to unite and form a formidable force to bargain for inclusion at the national negotiating table.
Tunajua wazi haya mazungumzo yanaendelea hata fufua uchumi. Kitakachofufua uchumi wa Kenya ni kuhakikisha kwamba rais wetu ametekeleza kikamilifu manifesto yake. Ikiwa uchumi wa Tana River utafufuka, ni manifesto ya Mheshimiwa William Ruto itekelezwe kikamilifu. Na kutekeleza kikamilifu ruwaza hii ni rais amepatiwa nafasi afanye kazi. Haiwezekani kwamba kila akipanga watu anapangua. Anaweka sufuria kwa jiko, maji hayajachemka, mtu anakuja piga teke yale maji, halafu baadaye anasema ugali uko wapi? Atatoa ugali wapi ikiwa anajaribu kuwatengenezea Wakenya na wengine wanakuja kupiga mateke yale matendo ambayo anafanya? If we want to fix this country, allow the president to fully roll out his manifesto.
Mimi namuunga mkono sana, especially jambo la 2027 and beyond. Hapa nyuma hatuja kuwa a solid block ya sisi kushikana na kujaribu kutafuta yale wengine wanatafuta katika nchi ya Kenya. but kuanzia sasa kwenda mbele hatutabaki nyuma sisi.
Away from that, and the MP Shah Hospital today became the first hospital in Africa to join the CareMe Global Alliance in a landmark collaboration to improve outcomes for patients with cardiovascular, renal, and metabolic diseases in Kenya, including conditions like diabetes, heart failure, and a chronic kidney disease, spearheaded by the global pharmaceutical company AstraZeneca. The CareMe Global Alliance is dedicated to transforming CVRM care from an approach that targets each condition individually to one that treats all three comorbidities as one. Veronica Wanjiru has more.
More than 500 million people around the world continue to be affected by cardiovascular diseases. As a result, the MP Shah Hospital has made history by becoming the first hospital in Africa to join the CareMe Global Alliance. Aims to improve outcomes for patients with cardiovascular, renal, and metabolic CVRM diseases, including conditions like diabetes, heart failure, and chronic kidney disease. Led by AstraZeneca, the alliance focuses on treating these commodities as one, leading to better clinical outcome, reduced cost, and improved resource utilization. According to Dr. Stephen Mutiso, the lead renal program in the Ministry of Health, the facility will serve as a one-stop shop, which will be convenient because the diseases have shared risk factors, making it crucial to provide integrated care.
One of the things that we are really pushing for currently is the agenda of universal health coverage. And this talks mostly about access as well as protection from financial hardship. And in the access spectrum, you do realize that when you have a one-stop center, patients with shared risk factors, patients who have multiple comorbid conditions can actually receive their care from a one-stop shop. We already have the same happening at MP Shah. The cardiac and cardiovascular center already benefits the greater community, including other hospitals in Nairobi, as well as the greater patients in the region. So having this center bolsters and builds on that and actually increases the level of access in the region.
On his part, Dr. Manoj Shah, the chairman at the MP Shah Hospital, expressed hope to provide multidisciplinary care in alignment with CareMe's advocacy in these three fields.
With this partnership and with setting up this first center of excellence here at the MP Shah Hospital, we are hoping to provide world-class multidisciplinary care in all the three fields that CareMe Global Alliance is advocating in terms of providing the best care for all our patients.
Speaking during the event, MP Shah Head of Department of Internal Medicine, Dr. Hussein Baga, emphasized on the benefits of having the Center of Excellence in the country.
As the name suggests, CareMe stands for cardiovascular disease, renal disease, and metabolic diseases. Now, we all know that all of these diseases are integrated. When one has cardiac disease, they'll also have kidney disease as well. They'll also have diabetes as well. So these patients require a multidisciplinary team approach in the management, and this has been lacking in our country. We at MP Shah Hospital have been having this form of a integrated approach. We have a cardiac team, we have a renal team, and we have a diabetes and endocrinology team.
This new collaboration aims to address the rising burden in Kenya, aiming to engage 400 patients in the CareMe registry in the first year, with key objectives including integrating cardiology, diabetic and renal clinics, managing patients holistically, and evaluating outcomes based on the CareMe model approach. As a result of increase in the number of people affected by cardiovascular diseases, the first ever cardiovascular center has been opened at the MP Shah Hospital. This groundbreaking facility will offer a state-of-art treatment and services for heart health and other chronic diseases such as kidney failure and diabetes. Veronica Wanjiru, Hope TV NEWSWATCH.
Thank you, Wanjiru, for that report. The family of a Mombasa-based businessman Zakaria Kamal, who was allegedly abducted in broad daylight by suspected anti-terrorism police unit officers and deported to Somalia, is appealing to the state to return him to the country. Kamal, who was arrested in Mombasa in May and presented in Shanzu law courts, was being investigated for illegally importing assorted weapons in 3 containers from China on behalf of the dreaded Al-Shabaab terror group in Somalia. Our very own Grace Ahati with that report.
A family in Mombasa is seeking justice for their kin Zakaria Kamal, who was allegedly abducted in broad daylight by suspected anti-terrorism police unit ATPU officers and deported to Somalia. The family claims that the Mombasa-based businessman was arrested in May in Mombasa and presented in Shanzu law courts, whereby he was being investigated for illegally importing assorted weapons in 3 containers from China on behalf of the dreaded Al-Shabaab terror group in Somalia. Addressing the press, the family's lawyer Jared Magolo said his client was arrested near the General Post Office GPO along Digo Road 2 days after reporting to the ATPU office last month, and efforts to even get to know his whereabouts have not been fruitful.
After several visits to different police stations, the family was forced to make an application for habeas corpus, seeking that it be produced in court. The matter is still live and is pending. But unfortunately, over the weekend, starting from social media, reports appeared that he is in Somali, that he had been arrested in Somali, trying to join Al-Shabaab by Somali authorities. Since his arrest here in Mombasa was very clearly, all the hallmarks was of police officers. It seems, therefore, that our good DCI officers handed over Kamal to Somali authorities.
According to the Somalia National Intelligence and Security Agency NISA, on its official verified X account Friday post, they apprehended Kamal for procuring weaponry and explosives from foreign sources solely to harm the Harijite adversary and inflict harm upon the innocent Somali people. The lawyer has, however, noted that handing him over to Somalia is a clear breach of his client's constitutional rights, noting that his client is a Kenyan citizen by birth.
He was born here. We have a copy of the birth certificate. He has gone to school here and eventually went for further studies in China. It would be a bit fairly unfortunate that a person can be arrested here and literally spirited into a foreign country with hardly recognizable legal systems.
Kamal's uncle Yusuf Sufi says the family is still in shock at the turn of the events, noting that there is a CCTV footage showing their kin being abducted.
Kwa hivyo tunaomba serikali usaidizi kwa sababu kijiji Zakaria inajulikana ni Mkenya, mhalisi na mazaliwa hapa na masomea hapa. Na tulimtafuta sana, juzi tu tulisikia kwamba ameonekana Somalia, na Somalia wanadai kwamba walimpata ndani ya nchi akiwa mfichoni na alishikwa hapa hadharani daytime. Kwa hivyo tunaomba usaidizi kutoka kwa serikali.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Grace Ahati.
Thank you so much, Grace, for that report. Now, on that note, it's time for a quick breather here on Newswatch. But after the break, I'll be back with the business and sports news. Stick around.
Do you desire to gain knowledge and practical skills in the latest psychometrics testing technology? PAC University has got you covered. Enroll in the Psychometrics Testing Certification Training on 11th and 12th October to learn about the Vienna test system, which comprises a variety of assessments such as ability and personality tests, as well as attitude and interest tests. The cost is 20,000 Kenya shillings. For bookings and inquiries, please call 0768 357 440. PAC University, where leaders are made.
In order to keep hope alive in the airwaves, Hope Media has a couple of initiatives. Friends of Hope. Friends of Hope is you and I forming a team of well-wishers and volunteers who give in cash and kind to support in spreading the gospel at Hope Media. Currently, Hope Media is running a campaign under Friends of Hope dubbed 100 for 1. Through the campaign, Hope Media is asking Hope FM and Hope TV listeners and viewers to give just 100 shillings in order to reach one more soul with the message of hope and the gospel. Engage with us on our social media platforms at Hope FM Live and at Hope TV Kenya. Kuwa rafiki mso leo.
Welcome back. Now let's get down to business. Absa Bank Kenya PLC has announced the reintroduction of a China desk to offer tailor-made solutions to the growing community of Chinese investors and business people operating in Kenya and the East African region. The new desk, which is fully staffed with Mandarin-speaking professionals, will enable the bank to provide banking services such as project financing, CPF financing, trade financing, foreign exchange, and hedging, cross-cultural expertise, and access to a global network of experts.
We truly believe in ABSA in partnering with our customers and working with you as you achieve your plans. And, you know, the Chinese businesses across this continent of Africa is having a very, very positive impact on our economies, and the people that make it happen, the people that drive it, and that create that opportunity is the business people that are represented here. And so we thank you for the partnership, and we also assure you that ABSA will continue to work with you and will continue to partner with you as we move forward. As you know, the bank is represented all over the continent, all over the region. I have met customers here today that work with us here in Tanzania, work with us in Uganda, here in Kenya, work in Tanzania, Uganda, and other countries, you know, in the region. And ABSA brings you that capability to work not just in Kenya, but also across the region and across the continent. And therefore, we're very proud of this community. We're very proud of what you are doing. We are proud of the value that you are adding to our continent. And as ABSA, we will continue, you know, partnering with you and working with you as we move forward.
Equity Bank has been named as the best bank in Africa for corporate responsibility at the 2023 Euromoney Awards. The awards, which cover various categories, also saw Equity awarded as the best bank in Kenya and DRC. The Euromoney Awards serve as a beacon of excellence in the banking industry. Financial institutions from around the world compete for these accolades, which serve as a benchmark for success and a testament to their commitment to delivering exceptional services and driving positive change in the financial sector. And to some sporting action now, KCB women's volleyball team under 3-2 hard-fought victory over a resilient Kenya Prison side during the Kenya Volleyball Federation playoffs staged at the Kasarani Indoor Arena today. The Bankers started the match on a high, recording a 25-18 win in the first set before falling short in the second set to lose 22-15 to its opponents. They will however recover in the third set, winning 25-10. Kenya Prisons had the upper hand in the fourth set, claiming it with a 26-24 victory. KCB sealed their 3-2 win in the last set by trouncing their opponents 15-12. The team will play Detectives DCI tomorrow afternoon that will culminate in the much-awaited clash against Kenya Pipeline. And the national men's football team head coach Injin Firat is this week set to name his squad for the upcoming friendly match. Harambee Stars are set to face Russia in an international friendly match on the 16th of this month. This friendly encounter with Russia occurs during a period when the nation has faced bans from FIFA and UEFA competitions. The ban was imposed in February 2022 due to the Russian government's invasion of Ukraine. And Monday night's Premier League offering comes in the shape of a West London derby as Fulham welcomes fellow bottom half stragglers Chelsea to Craven Cottage. Both teams achieved 1-goal wins in their third-round EFL Cup ties in midweek as the Cottagers overcame Norwich 2-1 while the Blues bested Brighton 1-0. Chelsea will be aiming to make it to 2 wins in a row. We come to the end of the first part of this broadcast, but after the break we go straight to the dialogue KE.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content, of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Watu wa Mungu, Be the vocalist hapa, and I'm just here to give you a testament. I am a living testimony of the slogan of Hope FM, where they say, listen and live. I am such a serious testimony and a testament to that statement, because they have impacted my life big time. And imagine ile kitu wanauliza ni ati, the way they have impacted my life and your life. Tunaweza jaribu pia to spread hii kitu mpaka huko mashinani, to spread hii word ya God huko mashinani. And the only thing they're requesting us to do is just contribute 100 bob. We just become partners with them. Na unapatana tu na bob moja. Lakini pia kama unafeel uko philanthropic sana, unaweza piga jil mbili. Twende hivyo, alright? And so they are calling it 100 for one, where you just give out 100 bob and they can reach out to another soul. And of course mnauliza, okay, tuko na iso tunatuma wapi? Iso tunatuma via M-Pesa, na tuko na P-bill number. P-bill number yetu ni 933. Alafu hapo kwa account name, alright? Andika tu FOH, yani Friends of Hope. Alafu tuma ile kitu natuma. Hapo mbele ni pin number yako na ni siri yako. Alafu tumeshamaliza hii kitu. Click on the send. Na imagine utakuwa umefanya kitu moja serious sana. We as Hope Media tutakuwa reach out to one soul. God bless you. Be there.
I've actually been trying to find a balance. It's been really tough and hectic, but everyone says once you get a hang of it, it becomes better, and I don't know, but I'm hoping to find a balance soon because it's really been hectic. But you've been in the job industry for a long time, so I think you would know better. Sindio?
Huh? What time is it? I need to catch up on Leadership Forum. Did they have a radio here? Never mind. I brought my own.
No way. You can't be serious. Wait, why do you have a radio and you can just catch up with the shows on Hope FM podcast?
Really? Even Meet of the World?
Yeah. I mean, you can find them on whatever platform, name it. AfriPods, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it.
But I'm not subscribed on any of them.
So no worries. You can just check out the latest episodes on hopemediakenya.org.
You can now listen to select Hope FM programs on your favorite podcast streaming platform or directly on our website www.hopemediakenya.org. Listen and live.
Thank you for watching Hope TV, the station where you look and live. For feedback regarding our programming, you can WhatsApp us through 0708 222 323. SMS 22232. Website www.hopemediakenya.org or scan the QR code below.
The Asian community in Kenya has been nationally recognized as the 44th tribe of the people of this great nation.
For me, God is real in Christianity. I talk to Him, He talks to me. I fail, He forgives me.
When I first read the first book of Genesis, it gave me an orderly sense of accounts of creation. Day 1 is what He does. Day 2, He creates this. Day 3.
Every third Thursday of the month, we bring you Asia Testify,
where we will be listening to life-transforming stories of Asian believers who have walked with the Lord. Only here on Hope TV. Look and live.
In order to keep hope alive in the airwaves, Hope Media has a couple of initiatives. Friends of Hope. Friends of Hope is you and I forming a team of well-wishers and volunteers who give in cash and kind to support in spreading the gospel at Hope Media. Currently, Hope Media is running a campaign under Friends of Hope dubbed 100 for 1. Through the campaign, Hope Media is asking Hope FM and Hope TV listeners and viewers to give just 100 shillings in order to reach one more soul with the message of hope and the gospel. Engage with us on our social media platforms at Hope FM Live and at Hope TV Kenya. Kuwa rafiki mso leo.
Welcome back. You're watching Hope TV News. Now, tonight on the Dialogue K, we'll be discussing on the state of the national dialogue that is taking place at the Bomas of Kenya. And to help us discuss on this, joined by Steve Ogutu, a governance specialist, and lawyer Charles Kimani. Karibuni sana.
Thank you.
Can I begin by you, Wakili? I mean, what's your take on the whole process so far on the national dialogue?
I think first it was a good move, considering the political temperatures that you are rising.
Sure.
Right, left, center. And it may be not in the very good will with the politicians, because we say you cannot trust the politician. They always remain, the monkeys are the same, only the forest that do change. But having said that, if the dialogue buys some time for us, we are able to continue with our normal business. Some of the Kenyans were not interested to be given food, but to have an environment that they can work comfortably and they can raise their earning. Because much of the losses we were making, we were counting in form of billions, was a result of non-business going on, because the temperatures were rising more and more. But may it be as it may, if the dialogue is taken serious, I believe it can birth something that can result us to somewhere better. And I pray that the committee members and every party involved will read from what killed BBI.
Steve, Wakili says that you cannot trust politicians. I don't know what's your take on this whole process so far on the national dialogue.
I think for me, and first of all, thanks for having me on the issue. I think it's my first time appearing on Hope TV, and I'm so excited about it. I think the whole dialogue issue is something that should be lauded. It should be applauded by any Kenyan anyone who means good for Kenya. We have seen where we were in the past, where property were being destroyed, lives were lost. Over 50 Kenyans lost their lives. And therefore, this party is deciding to sit. I think that is commendable. But I think going beyond that, we need to see this dialogue centering around issues that concern Kenyans, not the politicians themselves. We know that there's high cost of living. That is a crisis in this country. The people who are going hungry for like an entire week without meals, you know. I mean, it's despicable. And I think that there's need to have a genuine agenda about uplifting the livelihoods of the Kenyan people. If this dialogue is not about that, then it speaks to what he's saying about whether these politicians are genuine or not. But I want to hope that the content of this dialogue and its primary agenda is to really address the issues that Kenyans are struggling with. And I think top on that list is the cost of living.
The cost of living. Yeah. We'll get to that on the cost of living, but we've seen Kenyans making their submissions. And today we saw the former Attorney General Amos Wako making his submissions, and he said that he actually proposed that 2 or 3 political parties with the largest influence to be able to nominate IBC commissioners. Do you think this is going to solve the trust issues that many politicians have with the IBC?
In my view, we have football teams that always have 2 teams playing. And I believe the current president told them the same proposal was in the BBI that failed. And I believe Amos Wako was among the proposers of the same motion. And there is a statement he made by then that there is no time the teams that are playing can select their referees. I believe it would be, what about when we talk about the constitutional right, even the ones that are considered as less political parties have equal rights. And now, for example, we had 2 teams that were there in the elections, but assuming that the ODM went separate with the Jubilee would have been the third party that would have almost equal muscle with the ODM, considering the parties, the members they got after the election. Now, if we have selected the 2 parties, we are making an assumption there will be always 2 parties that have almost equal muscles. There may be 5 parties that are equal muscles. So there are things we cannot fix in law and say this is the best it will be. We would rather have a neutral person elected generally to handle the elections and let them have their independence. Because if we have also sent, like now, the way we have now this committee, the National Dialogue, would we now have a lot of trust with them because they have been selected by these 2 committees, by the 2 parties? It may not be so. The only person who is actually having that faith with them is this politician. But the election should be taken beyond the 2 politicians who are competing the main seat. The elections is actually for us as citizens, the Mwananchi, the Wanjiko, the Otieno. And that is the person who should be in the consideration when even we are selecting who will manage the elections and who will give us the results that are genuine, honest, verifiable, open. And when that result comes also, somebody also must be open and ready to know that there is no single time when both of you will win. There must be a winner and there must be a loser in every election. And the one who wins must be able to celebrate in a manner, appreciating the other competitor. And the one who loses must be ready to congratulate. And I congratulate both Polycarp and Sakaja. They showed us if in the national elections was like the way Nairobi County was, they pushed each other until the last minute. And they shook hands, and there was nothing beyond there. And today both of them are happy. I wish then the entire nation also can be of the kind. Then we would not even have a problem with the IBC.
All right, Steve, let me pick your mind on this issue. Do you agree the proposal by the former Attorney General to have the top 3 parties nominate the commissioners of the IBC?
You know, I'm a big champion of inclusivity in everything. And I don't think that would really solve the kind of issues that distrust and the trust deficiency that IBC is suffering right now. And I think this is really expected. I mean, if you look at IBC, I think this is the only body, independent institution in this country that is handling a very sensitive aspect of this country, the democracy, holding the heart of the democracy of this country, dealing with so many varied interests, you know, and therefore so much at stake, and that's a lot of issues that we see IBC facing. But I think also within IBC, I think there's need to really look at, within the IBC institution, leaving alone the personalities, I think it's really important for them to look at why has there been issues around trust within the IBC? What are they doing right? What are they not doing right? And how can they self-correct some of these issues? Truth is, if we were to follow the law and do what the law says in terms of even Chapter 6 of our constitutions for the IBC officials, or in terms of the laws and the regulations that govern the elections in this country, then we wouldn't really have a lot of these problems. So could it be that there is lip service when it comes to following some of these laws? Could it be that the kind of technologies that we are adopting could be contributing to this distrust that we have? So I think the bottom line is IBC need to reach to a point where they say, let's pause and reflect. Let's look at what has worked and what hasn't, and engage other stakeholders, not just the politicians. I think the most important stakeholder in all this conversation is us, the citizens of this country, and not the few political leaders we see meeting over meals and coffee, purporting to be representing us. I think we really need to take it a notch higher to really getting the genuine citizen views in a structured way. I think that could help us get a pathway to addressing some of these issues.
All right. Right now, the IBC is not fully constituted. And actually, Banisa constituency does not have an MP because the MP passed and the elections could not be held because of that. I mean, why do you think this is happening yet we have an IBC selection panel that is yet to start its mandate?
We are all aware that the part of the commission, the Cherera 4, when they resigned, is when also the political temperatures were rising. And now the selection of the new commission would not have been the suitable time to have been elected when the temperatures are on that kind of level that it was going to. Well, I would say also the IBC itself faces a very challenging moment. Because if you are a commissioner, okay, at times I try also to appreciate these politicians because some of them, it is a matter of lifetime. So the interest they have is more than what we think or we see. If somebody feels like that seat is either get now or now, which of course should not be the case, whatever aspirations you have in life, you must always plan to win, but when you lose, how to manage the loss. But if we are in the government and we give pressure to the ones we have appointed to handle that election, then it means they will not. You realize that the last three commissions, actually the last three chairpersons have been under pressure. And all of them have been pushed to resign. And unfortunately, part of the people who are appointed them are the same people who push them out. And you find like, who will we get that we think you, Bwana Kennedy, and my friend, both of you want the same seat, and there's only one who will get it. And you come to me and say, deliver this to me or to me. Under the sun, it will not happen because legally it is not applicable. Naturally, it is not doable. So this, whoever we appoint there as a AMBC chairperson cannot have two presidents. The voters will vote, and at the end of the day, we will have one president. But now if we put pressure that confirm this, it will not happen. And that's where the problem is. And as much as we want to, we will push and we keep reviewing, but the best that we can do is always to continue improving, continue working on the strategies and the systems until the time now we are able to see, like the way, because almost every other nation will always be dissatisfied. Even Trump said the elections were rigged from the United States of America, and in fact he refused even to hand over. And they took over the government without his consent. So if that happens to United States of America, how much will it happen in Africa, where we believe everything we gain by force? So probably after this dialogue and the things have cooled down, the commission will be appointed, and there will be the required quorum that would be constituted, so that they can be able to carry out the elections of the places that are affected. Because I understand the chairman time ended, the other four resigned. So actually there is no commission.
No quorum. But I also think that even as even as the country is moving towards establishing the IBC with new commissioners and all that, it is important that they learn from the recommendations that came out from the 2017 ruling and also last year's ruling, so that we don't keep on finding ourselves in such positions. I think those were really fundamental pieces of rulings and recommendations from the Supreme Court that needs to be upheld. But beyond that, I think in this entire dialogue, there are some insights that are coming out. If you listen to Professor Guido Muigai, I think of all the, I'm not trying to play down views from other people, but I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think the issues he raised during his submission of reducing number of constituencies, number of counties and all that, I think his point was the kind of wage bill that this country is experiencing is so top-heavy. And that in itself is hurting this economy, is hurting the very agenda that the government is trying to push of bottom-up economy. Because then very few benefit at the expense of the citizens. We spend so much money out of the revenue we collect going to pay wages and all that, salaries and all that. And then the other portion goes to debt repayment and all that. So very less is left to develop the country. And I think those are some of the issues that we should be seeing featuring in this dialogue going forward.
Wakili, you've mentioned about the Cherera 4. And actually, they made their submissions last week, and they dismissed the results of last year's presidential race. Do you think that they are opening up wounds that maybe Kenyans heal from or are healing from, and after the Supreme Court made its declaration?
Cherera 4 was a very interesting drama, in my opinion, and there are many questions as he has mentioned that were raised by the Supreme Court, because they had an opportunity to make a presentation in the Supreme Court, and there was an opportunity to analyze the evidence that they had. And the part of it was that one of the questions they had was, why quiet until the last minute? Then he said the results are not genuine. Number two, we expected them as commissioners to have brought before the court a clear evidence on because I was following the elections in different aspects there were ones that the IMBC were doing, the tally. There was one that was being done by the Citizen, the tally. There was one that was being done by Kenya Kwanza. Unfortunately, the other side, Azimio Trust and the IMBC wouldn't do it for them, because we anticipated that though it is the work of the commission to tally and do everything, you also, as an agent, have a mandate to verify the vote from there. And you understand that the ruling in Raila 1, we usually call them Raila 1, Raila 2, Raila 3, because the Supreme Court ruling in 2013 was the first presidential petition, and the person who filed it was Raila 1. The petition in 2017, we call it Raila 2. There was another 2017 that he filed after the second, the repeat of the election, Raila 3, and Raila 4, that was now in 2022. Now, in all of them, there have been recommendations by the court out of the analysis that the advocates and everybody has given during the hearing, the parties and the councils. And also, one of the things now that was recommended in that 2013 was that the vote cast, and I think there was also some interpretations from the High Court concerning how the voting would be carried so that there can be verification. So one of the recommendations was the vote cast at the polling station is the final vote. So the only business in the national tally is actually like summarizing the record. And that's why every station, that polling station, that very primary school, where there are 3 polling stations there, ought to have agents from every party. And those agents are entitled to retain a copy when the other copy is retained by the IEBC, such that if there are 3 parties or 5 parties, each of them get a copy of the vote that have been casted there, the box has been opened there, then they have tallied, they have counted, and that number is transmitted to the constituency level. They tally all of them. There is an agent from every party. They have that right to have that agent. Then they tally there. Then it's taken to the county level. They tally there. Then it's now brought to the national level. Now, in the constituency level, they would form the first form. Then they have the Form C in county level, and then the last form is formed in the national tally. And that's where you would hear when we were talking about the production of Form B, Form C, Form D being the last form, it was now the final tally. So what Serera differed on was now the final tally that was being brought from the constituencies. They never told us the one that was done about the polling stations. Because now in the national level, they were receiving from polling stations, constituencies, and there was a record of all of them. Now, there was what was transmitted electronically and physically. And one of the questions that was very clear in the Supreme Court was to them, was there any doctoring of the physical document when they travel around from Moyale to Nairobi? Was there any differing from that one that traveled from Malindi to Nairobi? From that little polling station in Kilalai Primary Maua, Egembe constituency, Meru County, that was brought to Nairobi Bomas Tallying Center? If there is no single proof of one single station that was different, then what are you telling us that there was doctoring of the result? So the main question on that was demonstrated even in the court was, are they tallying here in the physical document and what was electronically transmitted on what was transmitted from the polling station, from the constituency level, from the county level? Now, are they opening wounds? Yes, they are. But they are just seeking mercy so that they are covered. They are not seen like they just cause drama. to the elections. They are trying to redeem themselves. Because to me, I believe they were the greatest failures. They should have told us something is not working from day one. They should have told us 5 constituencies results have been brought here and they are not tallying. They should have pointed to us. Because if you just tell the nation, I don't agree with the result, what are you not agreeing with? Tell us. I'm not agreeing with the result from Kiambu Primary. They have been doctored.
Talking of agreeing, Steve, do you agree with Wakili's remarks regarding the Cherarafo, that they are the biggest failures of the election?
I think, like he correctly put it, that was his opinion.
Yeah.
And he's entitled to his opinion.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But I think by virtue of them, I don't think that it's really wise to entirely dismiss them. I think that would be because this was the vice chairperson of IBC, and these were the 4 of them were formed the 50+1, of IBC, and so is there something they know that we didn't know, But I think right now whatever they're suggesting could be water under the bridge. But I think the important lessons that they should share with IBC, for instance, how can we make IBC serve Kenyans better, discharge its mandate better? How can IBC, build confidence of Kenyans in it, as opposed to what we are seeing right now? I think that is a challenge. And I think even just by virtue of having agents in every polling station, I'm looking forward to a time when we won't need to have agents, because the mandate of IBC is very express, to count-elect, to conduct the elections, end-to-end, voting and tallying and announcing results. I'm looking forward to a day when we won't need to have to verify, to counter-verify from agents, and that will only happen when they do a lot of work in building the confidence and addressing the trust issues that some majority of Kenyans, or most Kenyans, have in them.
The main reason as to why Azimio went to the streets was because of the high cost of living, as they put it. But looking at this national dialogue, we are seeing more of electoral reforms discussions, more than the high cost of living. Do you think that there is a diversion, in a way, from the main agenda?
I would think that they shouldn't, like I said, this whole dialogue, if it's to be a genuine dialogue, it has to be centered around the issues that Kenyans are facing, first and foremost. How can we lower the cost of living? How can we lower the cost of fuel? How can we make things better for common mwananchi? But beyond that, we cannot also just play down the kind of issues they are raising around elections, governance, and all that. I think if you've listened to both sides, I think they agree that maybe there are reforms that need to happen, because here we are not just talking about we are talking about the stability of a country, and we have seen that when a country is not stable, when the democracy of a country is threatened, the whole country is threatened, whether it's the economy of a country, whether it's the end-to-end, the entire country is threatened, and we don't want to get there. I think if there are structures that they are proposing to have in place to help us address some of these issues going forward, I think those should be encouraged.
All right. Is there a possibility of both teams disagreeing on the issues as they conclude?
We never know.
Because we saw the bipartisan talks failed. We now have the National Dialogue Committee.
One, as he mentions, we cannot ignore the issue they raise on the political, because when also we touch on the issue of the elections, it all rise or fall with the leadership. And if we don't have a proper system in the electoral body, and one that is independent and reliable, most of the time we are likely to be shortchanged. And when you get wrong with the leadership, then also we will not manage everything else that rises with the country. Because the governance is all our security depends and it looks at how the leadership is. When you come even to the food security and all that development, it all looks at who will manage this.
Okay, so do you think that...
So the dialogue, yes, it may end up with them if they agree on the leadership, everything else they will put it under the table. With them, if they have they differ in the issues of the leadership among themselves, then the dialogue will fail. But I can tell you without a shadow of doubt, they are very little about the common mwananchi.
So in your opinion, do you think the dialogue will succeed or not?
The dialogue, I will give it still, I'm yet to see and give it 50-50.
50-50.
Until the question should be succeed from whose perspective? Is it from the Mwananchi perspective or from the politician's perspective?
Yeah.
I think from the Mwananchi perspective, and here also we have to look at, are the issues being discussed there Mwananchi related issues? If that's the case, then yes, I think I endorse it. If the issues that are being discussed there are about Mwananchi, I endorse it. But again, if it's about politics, then I think there seem to be a blessing of the Kenya Kwanza leader, the president in this, and also the blessing from Raila Odinga and co in this matter. So if they have blessings from both sides, I think it will sail through. I think that's the reality. The reality.
Right. So 50-50 and a yes. All right, that's a very good point to end the dialogue tonight. Thank you so much, Steve, for coming.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Wakili.
Most obliged.
All right, and thank you so much, our viewers, for watching the Dialogue K. On behalf of the whole team that made this broadcast a success, have yourself a blessed night. My name is Kennedy Kimani, and my co-presenter on the sign language interpretation has been Boniface Murithi.